Um, okay, there we go. It seems like FTWin is sticking with their lineup right now because it was kind of worrying since we know that they might need a sub sooner or later if the tournament lasts any longer. So they might have to swap out Ice. But let's see what happens. So far, Ice is still here, so FTWin's still playing with their main roster. That's definitely a good thing for FTWin since they're not going to have to switch to something that they may be less used to, less accustomed to.
Certainly. I'm very excited to see what they're going to be able to do here. And you're right, when you have that roster switch kind of middle of a tournament, it can shake a lot of things up for you. And sometimes it does get a little bit frustrating. So, we'll see what they're going to be able to do. I'm very excited to watch these two teams play, as are you. And I, yay.
And yay, yeah, I mean,
Yay is like the
there's no
only
better way
emotion.
to define it, you know. Yay is a mood, and it's my mood as well for this grand finals because this is going to be really, really interesting. Let's be real. Uh, and also keep in mind the first team that wins in this specific tournament is going to be the first team that actually gets a free pass into the grand final tournament of the entire Grand Prix.
Certainly. And once this team is able to do so, whichever team takes this home is going to be taking, let me just pull up. I had my image about how everything gets broken down here in terms of points, but they'll be taking the first 100 points and gets their first final qualification. So technically, they don't even need to play in any of the other qualifiers. They'll have
Exactly.
their seat set for our finals.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that Ghost is probably not really going to care too much if they're the ones winning because they're probably going to be wanting to play the most tournaments they can, especially to de-rust with this dude lineup, considering how much they've been used to playing with Soren in recent times. But I think still it's gonna be something that is gonna come really handy for either one of these teams. And two, making Soldier proud here, going for that squeezy goal. What do you think about the squeezy goal?
I'm really excited for it. I think it's interesting because, we had remarked earlier that Soldier was the first one who had played it in quite a little bit of a while. Maybe bringing it back, Toon, feels comfortable. We have seen Toon play it before. So maybe it's just kind of the plan here to throw Team Olive off of their game a little bit by bringing up some of these unexpected choices.
Definitely makes sense, and Bubbles are really good here. But I think I just realized the weirdest pick in this entire matchup being Sendu's Tentabrella. He's actually not running the camel or the bubble ones. He's actually running the one with the wall and the curling rush. So it seemed like a very awkward pick at the very beginning, but now that I think about it, his main goal and all that, also Kyo getting, I'm guessing, a triple kill or a quad right there. His main goal is getting into the enemy top right. Once he gets into the top right, he sets up a wall. He throws his tent until he gets the curling rush. So that's gonna be pretty insane. But he actually needs to get into that position before he can do anything.
I agree with you. I'm really excited because I think wall is not a bad option here. The curling bomb rush is going to help take that zone very quickly. But like you said, he has to be in the right position. It doesn't quite seem like he was in the perfect position to be able to use that at that moment. So maybe this will be a little bit of a questionable choice at the end of the game. We'll see, because there's really not a lot of time left that FTWin needed to hold that. But no, beautiful play by Olive, comes in, takes that zone very, very nice and smooth.
Yeah, Ariza there really coming in clutch. Shaq was so close to single-handedly clutching the game for FTWin. Unfortunately for them, not able to do so, and this allows us to see a little more play from Team Olive. But I really think the most curious thing so far is again this pick by Sendo, which again on paper, if he gets in the position, it makes sense. But when we're seeing the neutral, all these scrimmages going on, it really seems like he's not being too useful for Olive. It's like he really struggles to get openings for them, as much as a Tentabrilla would actually like to do so. Urza is having to do a lot for himself.
Certainly seems like it. Maybe that was kind of their plan all along, to use it just as a little bit of a supporting everyone else and kind of take zone last minute if necessary. But I think either way, We know that Sendu's a really strong player, and whatever he decides to pick and play, he's going to do a good job at it. It's just a matter of getting into that positioning and how quickly FTWin can adjust to that as well. Maybe they expected him to run Tentabrella, and maybe they were already ready for it, maybe not.
Obviously, that is very true. And talking about specials and adaptation, we see those bubbles being used by FTWin, getting the priority pop compared to Brian's suction rush, which right there was trying to negate any sort of takeback from FTWin, but not fast enough compared to those bubbles, which are so explosive, so quick, just completely shutting down any form of takeback of the zone from Team Olive, which right now is still in the back foot and by quite a noticeable margin.
Really, really good job trying to get as many picks as possible and building those subs, those specials. Sorry, my words are failing me right now,
It's all
obviously.
right.
But it looks like Keo just popping off, getting a couple of picks there, gets another one before going down. So that's going to help them out a lot. Still holding on to this lead at 11 points. FTWin just really holding zone, and it seems like Team Olive doing what they can to break back in, but not quite able to take it on.
Looking at Keel play like that makes me lose my words too, because he was just going out of his mind. Absolutely crazy. With 50 seconds left, he might be able to break the 20k wall that we've been so close to breaking this entire tournament. But let's see what happens here. Keel 19 kills as Olive tries to desperately cap the zone, is able to, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do too much here. If Shaq is able to get this kill, dude, very intense 1v1. Shaq playing it extremely safe, extremely conservative, decided to, okay, I'm going to just back off. I'm going to guarantee that I'm going to get those missiles ready so that we can get a free take back afterwards and not risk dying. So there's a little bit of time left. Sendu is going in. He's forgetting about the zone, which is going to be really crucial here. The bubbles.
Oh, those bubbles were timed so perfectly. You literally said what I was thinking. Forgetting about the zone, so important right there. If they had been able to hold on to it, maybe they could have pushed that timer in order to take that lead, but not quite able to do so. So FTWin is going to take that game.
Wow, and Keo playing absolutely out of his mind, doing the most insane slaying we've seen so far in this entire tournament, getting a 20k, absolutely crazy so far. But really, we have to say, Ice and Toon, they definitely were the stars of this game as far as actually getting the zone goes, because they played the objective so well. You know, you might get all the kills you have, but if you don't play objective, you're not going to win. We saw that in the Loki game, so it's really important.
I think that's something that I have a really hard time with as well because a lot of teams will focus on going for the picks continuously and sometimes they lose sight of that objective. But right there, it really wasn't anything that Team Olive could have done. That bomb rush, those bubbles, everything was timed perfectly and they just didn't have an opportunity to take it back. So
Yeah, exactly. And we see a counter pick of Wahoo World Spartans coming in from Team Olive, which I guess is going to be trying to play on the strength of Sendo's Tentambrella, because as I was talking with Toby earlier, this map is just such a good map for Tentambrella. It's one of the highlight maps for both Tentambrella and Stingray. So it's really gonna be an interesting showdown here. But I think Olive definitely has a smart choice behind this specific map.
they seem to have their plan all figured out because they readied up very, very quickly. So this could just be what they're waiting for to just I don't know, shut it down. You know, they picked this as their counter pick. If they can take this one, we will go to a game 3 in our first Splat Zone set. If they have to take the time to rethink their strategy after this game and they get to counter pick a mode, maybe we'll see something interesting come from them then too.
Really hoping that we're gonna be getting to this game 3 on the Splat Zone set. We haven't really been seeing too many game 3s in the set play so far, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully, it's gonna be the change in pace that we need, that we're looking for to see this extremely tight series of matches coming in. So let's see what happens here as we see Keo currently contemplating his pick. So we might see something absolutely crazy coming in from Keo. That could be something that we might have to keep in mind. Maybe he's going something to specifically counter the Tentambrella or Tentambrella himself. Let's see.
We certainly shall. I'm very excited to see what they come up with. And it just looks like this is this is going to be it. This is going to be, what could bring us to our game 3.
Ooh, let's see. And we see the machine Neo. Okay, that is a very interesting choice coming in from Kyo.
I
Going for that bomb rush and point sensor. Do you mind explaining that? Do you understand why he's going for that?
I think the point center is going to help with the levels of this map because you can have somebody kind of underneath you, maybe not realize it. Good opportunities for flanks come from that. So maybe that's why the point sensor. I think it's an unconventional pick, and maybe it'll suit. Maybe we're sort of prejudging a little bit, and maybe it's just exactly what they're going for. I like that Sendu's back on this camo tent umbrella. I think that's much better than the last umbrella pick that he had chosen,
Yes.
and hopefully it'll help them out.
Yeah, I agree. I perfectly agree. I'm personally very skeptical of this Neo machine, considering how well Kyo has been doing with the Kensa machine. So I think definitely having an answer to the Tenth Umbrella and the Kensa machine could have worked in Kyo's favor. But who am I to judge? We were going to be seeing what ends up happening. But so far, it seems like Olive is currently in control quite comfortably, and Brian with a huge pick here onto ice. Very important here. Stingray is a huge component in this map, so making sure that the enemy Stingray does not exist for just a few seconds it could just be the change between losing the zone and actually keeping your lead going.
I feel like we haven't really seen Brian in the last game at all, so it was really nice to be able to see him get that beautiful pick. And I think we're going to continue to see those types of plays come out from Olive. Brian is a key member of their team in terms of using that Stingray, and exactly as we talked about it, there it is coming out. Doesn't get any quite picks, but is able to sort of help apply enough pressure to keep FTWin out of zone. Can Kyo get that shot? I think that they were able to stay alive, which is going to be very tough for Kyo because now he is all alone in mid and has to back off strategically to help himself stay alive.
Gosh, that was such a good angle by Kyo. I really thought he was going to be able to get that double kill. It would have been absolutely huge, but as long as he's still alive, that is still what FTWin is looking for. As long as you don't go down, that's still good because you're still keeping advantage and positioning. Somehow does not die to that bar. Absolutely crazy. And it looks like this could be the advantage that FTWin was looking for.
Kyo is causing such a nuisance for Team Olive over there. I was just thinking about it, and I loved watching him he was being not just sneaky and cheeky, but kind of hanging out and being annoying a little.
Yeah. He wasn't really doing much. He was just being there, and Olive was like, "Oh man, you really have to be there. Can you go out, please?" And that just forced them all to look in that general direction and just got them all killed.
It certainly did. I think it was a really tough shot for Team Olive, but this is exactly what we look for from FTWin. Coming in, being able to take this zone and break this point all the way down. There's not enough time, in my opinion, for Olive to do anything. So this game is going to go over to FTWin once again.
That was such a good showing by FTWin. They just played that one off so well. Kyo there with that play, and then Shaq. They just had such a strong offensive presence at the very end of that game that it just seemed like Ollie was completely not able to respond to that in any shape or form.
We'll see what Olive decides to do in terms of counterpicking a mode and what they're going to go with here. I'm really interested and very excited to see to hear what they decide, because this could make or break it. I would love to see more clams, but FTWin played clams so well in that last game that they played that might not be what they go for.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Olive went for the counterpick on Rainmaker right now, as you were saying. So that might just be what they're going for. That could be very interesting. Did we see FT1 play Rainmaker? Yes, we did, because it was when they played Humpback, right?
It was. So
Ooh, scary.
I know. That's what I'm a little worried.
I'm worried too. Damn, this is looking like it could be very scary all of a sudden for Olive being down one set and going into a mode which we've seen FTWin be very dominant in so far.
We know that in terms of how our qualifiers work, whatever team wins it does get a kind of commanding prize in terms of an automatically determined spot into our top finals tournament. So, this is something that both teams want because it gives you the option of, hey, I can't quite play for even if
For
they
the
can't
next one,
play in,
yeah.
yeah, any of the other qualifiers, this does allow them to feel very comfortable in their situation. So it's something huge that both teams want, and you can see that FTWin really doing whatever they need to discuss how are they going to tackle this Rainmaker on Makomart and what will they be able to do for this.
I mean, if FTWin keeps playing like they've been playing, I think if they run a similar comp compared to the one they've been running in both the last time they've played Makomart and what they've been running on Rainmaker, kind of like a mix of the two, this could just be very, very scary immediately for Team Olive. I'm curious to see what Sendu especially is going to be running. Whether he'll be sticking with the Tetrabrella, which I don't think is an amazing choice for Rainmaker in general and Mako Mart especially. We might see the Ketsa machine coming out from him. So in that case, it could be a very interesting K-Mac duel from both Sendu and Kyo. But I just maybe hypothesizing something that might not even happen. So let's see.
We certainly shall. And I mean, you were right. There we have no tent umbrella. So
Mhm.
swapping over to the Kensa undercover umbrella instead, which I think is going to be really helpful to apply some of this pressure with those torpedoes. And I'm excited to see what they have in store here. Maybe they have something else up their sleeve. Urza getting that first pick that's needed, but unfortunately does go down to that slashing machine. So it's going to be really difficult for them to kind of come back right now. But it's, oh, I was about to say two down and then one more goes.
Yeah, that was really close. Keo nearly messing that fight up against Brian, but managed to get a very solid right there, clutching out that fight and killing Brian is just always a huge deal. Keo using his angles here to his best advantage and really just being a huge nuisance so far. Dude getting the kill, yes, but the Rainmaker is still in the hands of FTWin, which are still pushing up. Look at that! Shaq already holding forward using missiles. They're just snowballing this out of control so far.
I think this is really a fantastic, fantastic play that came out of FTWin. They do go two down from that push, but 45, not so great, not so terrible, sort of just midline of what you would be looking for. And this is what we want.
Yeah, Brian there really coming in clutch, coming in huge. That Stingray single-handedly stopped FTWin's push, which could have otherwise been probably going into the 20s. And then that bomb securing the kill on Shaq, who's absolutely, absolutely huge. As we see Ghost here, Olive trying to go for their own push, but it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Actually, 3 players going down. That's essentially a clean spot by FTWin, which might just have time now to get control from it for themselves.
I think, unfortunately, they just have to back off. Toon here has to be very, very careful as Toon was the only one up. Does decide to use Rain instead of for an offensive push, but defensive. Just kind of bring that Rain down onto the Rainmaker so no one from Olive will be able to pick it up. Unfortunately, does go down and gets called out. And Urza over here, almost to missiles, does have missiles now. Pops them very, very quickly in order to allow as much pressure as he can possibly create with them, and he's sharking, just waiting for somebody to drop down from that platform.
Urza holding a very strong position right now. Unfortunately, he is not really too useful because of the Stingray there, and forced out now. Had his team been able to kill the Stingray just a second earlier, I think Urza probably would have single-handedly just completely ruined FTWin's life there. But forced back in mid, huge punish coming in from Shaq and the rest of the gang. And it seems like with Brian down and Urza down as well, so the two big playmakers on the side of Olive being currently down and respawning, I mean, it looks like FTWin might have a shot to just get the Rainmaker back up onto that top left side and just start getting some havoc once more.
I certainly do think that they can do that. Maybe they decide to come off to this right side. Interesting. I'm happy to see that they went for that push. Unfortunately, not going to be able to push it that much further. 33 though, still really nice. It's in a great position, and there are still members of FTWin over here picking up the Rainmaker. Oh no.
Gosh, that was so clutch. I think had Olive not respawned exactly at that time, that just could have been absolutely huge. That was very, very well played and well thought out by FTWin, really taking advantage of the moment. Carpe diem, really. But Olive now is trying to do their best. Urza, we've been seeing, try so hard and do so well with these pushes, but he just seems to be going in right time, right position, but his team is nowhere to be found. Always going down by the time that he's in a position where he can get something going.
I agree. I don't really know what's going on. Maybe it's just that the positioning of FTWin is a little bit stronger. Maybe they're anticipating where Team Olive is going to set up. Maybe it's a little bit of a knowing that they might need to find a sub. They're playing a little more aggressively than they might normally. I'm not really sure. They're doing a phenomenal job, though, I have to say, and I'm really, really ecstatic to be able to watch them. Shaq decides to jump out, which is exactly what he should be doing right now, and this is the beginning of the first, what could be huge push for Olive, as they seem to be perfectly set up.
But the Stingray is there. Brian is going to have to do his best to counter the Stingray, but it looks like he pops it too prematurely. The missiles get popped, and you got to keep in mind, Ice still has the Stingray, and the Rainmaker gets stopped. So this is looking like it's going to be game in my opinion.
I agree. I think this is game. At the very least, they can just pick it up, hold on to it, and cheese it out for the last, like, 10 seconds of this game here. And I think that's exactly what they're going to be doing here. Tune off to this side, trying to stay alive, because if he does go down, it could give an opportunity for Olive. Gets a double with that Rainmaker at the last second.
Triple.
Oh man. That's one for the clips right there.
Oh my god. But I think overall, this match was extremely dominant from the side of FTWin. And I think the biggest difference in the way the teams have been playing, even if the scoreboard looks slightly more in favor of Team Olive, I feel that Team Olive's timings were kind of off the marks. I think they were going on at different times. Especially Urza was just really being there at the right time, at the right moments, going for those aggressive openings, but the team seemed not to be able to see or at least follow up the specific openings that Urza was really going for. And that just backfired really hard.
It certainly did. And maybe they'll have better luck on Rainmaker on Starfish. I believe this is the first time we're seeing Starfish, right? We had
I
said
think
earlier
so,
maybe
yeah.
we would, but we didn't get to, so
Just like Climb Blitz, first time we see him.
I love it. I love it. Sometimes all you need to do is wait for the very end of a tournament to see all your firsts, and this will be it. You're going to be seeing Rainmaker on Starfish main stage, and this is our second set, our second game, no?
Yep. Second game in the second set. So if I'm not mistaken, if FTWin wins this one, they could bring it home already, right?
I think so. I think that is exactly what will happen. If they
Oh
win this,
boy.
they'll bring it home, or Olive will need to win this game, the next game, and a whole nother set for them to take this. So plenty of opportunity for them to sort of to bring this back, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do here.
FTWin here really trying to get this done before they need a sub. They really are right here, just being like, okay, guys, let's get this finished. We don't need a sub. We don't want a sub. We're just gonna win it right here, right now. Bring it home and have Ice go do whatever chores he has to do. Study, I don't know what he has to do, but do everything he wants to do with the happiness of having won the tournament right before that.
Absolutely. This could be everything that we're coming down to. It seems like FTWin is taking some time to discuss strategy. It has been working for them so far. Them just taking time, figure out what they need to say, do how they're going to do it. And, they've been playing very, very strong against Team Olive. So we'll continue to see what they have up their sleeves for us in this potential last game here. But definitely, Starfish main stage, Rainmaker. Since we haven't seen this map, what are your thoughts here, Hero? How do you feel about the map mode combination?
This is a peculiar one. It's a map and mode that you really have to pay attention to the Rainmaker to. Like sneaking the something fell in the living room, but I'm gonna have to check that later. Sneaking your way through this map is extremely deadly. A lot of teams, a lot of times, they end up making one small mistake in the direction they're facing. They forget about one of the two main entry points for the Rainmaker, and it just slips right past them, and it's really easy to get to that. I think it's like the 19-point mark on that little ramp. So very important for the teams to keep an eye out on the Rainmaker and never forgetting where he goes. And it looks like Brian's opting to go for that heavy slamming while Ice is going for that custom jet. What do you think about this?
I mean, if it works, it works. I think maybe Brian is feeling, like you said, didn't have his chicken right this morning, and maybe
his fish.
his fish. Sorry, yes, I couldn't remember the word for it.
It's all right. It's a complex Dutch word. It's
yeah. So maybe he's just feeling like, this could give us a little bit of an opportunity to do what we're here to do. Gets a beautiful pick with that Stingray, though, so that's going to be helpful. And working on lessens a little bit of the damage of that Rainmaker shield as well. So maybe this is just a little bit of a comfort pick for Brian at this point. Feeling like that heavy splatling might be a little better for him.
I think this is the Brian we like to see, getting those 3 picks right off the bat in this game. Very close and very important defense right there with that Stingray, but it seems like FTWin's Stingray of their own is coming in, getting the double kill, and it looks like they're trying to force this through. And Brian, again, coming in extremely clutch with that Stingray, getting 2 more plays. Brian just going off insane right now. He really is like, I don't want this win already. I might not have had so much screen time during the last games, but let's start this one off with a bang, and let me show you how good my heavy splatling still is.
Very true. Almost doubling all the other KAs that we have on the screen. So it's totally worth it. Exactly what you expect to see right now. Obviously, Brian, super strong, but has to be very careful of that positioning of Ice up on that top area as well. Finally, Team Olive able to pick up this Rainmaker. They have a long way to push this, though. They're working on pushing forward. Oh, is it just Shaq? It's just Shaq.
Yeah. He clutched it.
Very nice.
Wow.
Really nice job, though. They do push it all the way to 40, picking it back up, and unfortunately going down again, but really great job.
Oh, that was a really important move by Shaq. Had Shaq missed the Rainmaker, killed the guy next to the Rainmaker, or just simply died to Brian Stingray, that could have just spelled game right there, because that was looking like it was going to be a game-winning push. Urza here, though, trying to defend 2 players down, though, so he doesn't really have to do much in this specific instance, as his team is doing most of the work for him. It's being laid out in front of him, but Brian going down. We've seen how much Brian has been important in these defenses, so this is going to be important now.
Urza needs to get that pick. Oh my gosh, all the way to 40 or 38. All they need to do are those 2 extra points. If anyone is still left there, they can just pick that up and cheese it a little bit to move it past. Not quite able to.
Oh, there's only 2 left. He's going to go for the cheese here. Let's go. Oh, no, he's actually going to play it safe. Interesting. I think he could have definitely gotten a few more points out of the Rainmaker, but he doesn't really have to if he's able to get 3 kills out of that, but nobody following up the Rainmaker. Very unfortunate. It could have definitely been a push a little further than 38, but still was enough to get the lead. So Ghost, I keep calling him Ghost. Olive is definitely going to have to work their way up to that 30-point mark if they really want to see this game go to game 3.
They certainly will. My numbers are deceiving me here. I was completely mixed up with all those colors. So really great job so far. It seems as though Olive picking this back up. Nobody is there to quite stop this Rainmaker push. They get the lead back and push it all the way up the ramp right to the pedestal to 14. Really fantastic push from Olive right now. FTWin has so much they need to do to be able to run that back.
They still have a lot of time, though, and it seems like they're able to get those picks that they kind of need to get right now. They really need to get mid first, though. And with Ice having that Stingray at his disposal, and the Tentamus coming in from Shaq, this is going to be the opening they need, but they really have to keep in mind both Brian and Urza. They've definitely been the biggest thorns in their back so far in this specific match. And let's see what happens here. 38 seconds left, so they really are short on time, but anything can happen in this game.
Rainmaker is one of the modes that really anything can. It's a mode that you can win a 3v4. It's a mode that you can, as we've seen, cheese the heck out of. It's just a crazy, crazy thing that can happen here. And with only 16 seconds left, I'm not quite sure what they're going to be able to do. FTWin needs to pick up that Rainmaker right now in order to have a hope of keeping it alive. They do pick it up, but with so much pressure right now. Ooh.
Urza with the clutch right there. Huge flank coming in from Urza. It looks like Kyo completely forgot about it because Urza just looped around and managed to get the very, very crucial call on the Rainmaker. And definitely Urza and Brian stepping it up this game. Definitely showing that, hey, we're waking up. It might be midnight. It might be 15 minutes to midnight, but it doesn't mean we're falling asleep just yet because we're trying to bang this one home.
I forget about those time zones so often. You know, it's the end of the day over there in Europe, and it's still kind of afternoon here in New York. So fatigue is a real thing, and you can get really exhausted when you've been playing this long at such a high level. So I'm really excited to see what we're gonna have coming out here. It is FTWin's, oh my gosh, for Rainmaker, as this will be our third game within this set. If FTWin is able to take this game, of course, I knew it. I was gonna call this.
Oh no! Oh no!
I don't know, Hero. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't even want to talk about this. Oh no!
We don't have to talk about it. It's okay. It's okay.
We can just have like silence until they all select their weapons.
Sure. There's music going on. I mean, stream can hear it. You have 70 seconds for them to make these decisions. We don't have to talk about the map. We don't have to talk about the mode. We can talk about the players. Ice, taking some time to talk to the team, readying up, figuring out what they want to play. Urza and Sendu both also deciding what they're going to play.
Definitely going for that double custom jet. Definitely going for that double custom jet.
Not a tent umbrella?
No, double custom jet Octobrush. They really are going for that comp. I feel that they really have to step up in the shoes of Japan to defeat FTWin. But jokes aside, FTWin was just so dominant last time we saw them play this map, both at E3, also when we saw them play against Loki. I think this one, I have a hard time seeing any other team than FTWin just taking this one.
I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm very excited to see what is going to happen though, and how each team is going to be able to take this out. Looks like we're getting right into it now. Everybody has readied up. Everyone is ready to go. I can't wait. This is it. This is it, Hero.
I mean, I'm on my edge of my seat, Melissa, already. Like, the match hasn't even started yet, but I'm just so nervous already, knowing how well FTWin has been playing this one, so... Oof.
I think the downfall here could have been if Kyo had gone Blaster. Kyo did not. I'm gonna predict that this is FTWin's to win or to lose here, and Olive is gonna do everything they can to make sure FTWin doesn't get that early lead, because you know if FTWin does, they're feeling really good, and this could be their game very quickly.
Yeah, and we see here Sendu trying to go for the opening armor, but unfortunately Dude going down before that can even be given to him, meaning that they're getting 2 delayed deaths right there. Shaq trying to follow it up, very risky, very close at the same time to get a pick on both Dude and Brian. Unfortunately doesn't get it, but Dude here completely forced into an unfavorable position. And if Brian didn't get that Stingray kill, this could have been really bad.
It certainly could have, which is exactly what you want, right? You want to know that the rest of your teammates are in positions to be able to get those picks as soon as they need them. Dude pops that Booyah, was going for that Rainmaker, I think, but unfortunately couldn't because the Fizzy Bomb made it very, very difficult. And decides to wait it out until a couple of other teammates are at the ready right now. They do pick up the Rainmaker and gets 1 pick off of Shaq, which is going to be extremely helpful. But Toon right behind this wall. If they can get the pick on Toon, no, Toon does take out that Rainmaker carrier. Not a big push, just a couple of points difference right now, but it does give a little bit of an advantage for FTWin because the Rainmaker is in their control of the map.
And Brian alone forced to run back, as otherwise he would just risk dying with that Stingray, with that ever so important Stingray. But we finally see some kills coming in from Urza, which we actually see playing the L3D right now, which is something that we really haven't seen Urza take out this entire set. You know, you've seen him on his more comfortable picks such as the Kensa shot, and this is definitely something that we didn't really expect out of him, considering Dude has been playing the L3 so far in the set for Olive, but definitely interesting, but it's not really useful if you're standing in mid while the rest of the team is pushing. It does pay off now once again because of Brian's Stingray, and it turns out to be a wife. And Brian, once again, in these matches, just really showing off how important he can be in that anchor role.
Very true here. Coming around to this side on the map, they are able to take the lead. This is what Olive is looking for, still pushing that Rainmaker. They do unfortunately lose it as that Booyah comes up, but Dude is in a fantastic position over here, right behind this pedestal. Gets the pick off Shaq. Can't he get the one on Keo? Keo found him out and knows that he's there. The rest of the team, nowhere to be found. I don't know if Dude's just gonna shark it out or wait for some of his teammates to jump in. Oh my gosh, and push to 30 though, really nice job.
I mean, Dude right there, he didn't even need to get the kills. I mean, he's getting them, which is crazy, but he didn't even need to get them because all he did there was he completely distracted Keo from doing anything to the Rainmaker, and we saw how important Keo is in anything, doing anything for FTWin, such a variable and valuable player. Having him completely distracted just gave Olive this free opening to the 30-point mark there, which is definitely something not to laugh at. But, you know, it looks like FTWin has 3 specials at their disposal, with Storm being popped as well. So it's finally their time to try and have try and have a push point and see if they can test their luck.
It seems like they're going to right now. You know, Keo's in a good position as well. They do use all 3 of those specials before even picking up the Rainmaker. Maybe that was their plan all along, but it gives them tough place to kind of push forward here without any of those specials to help them. Brian, only halfway to a Stingray, is not going to have it as quickly as they want right now. Ice has the Rainmaker, so waiting just for some of the rest of the team to help support his push over here. That Stingray is now ready and out and gonna give Ice a lot of trouble, taking him out and allowing Brian to get one more pick for his bonus.
I mean, with 1 minute left, what do you think FTWin has to do at this point in order to take this one home? Because we've seen them try pushing, but they just can't seem to break Brian's defense.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think FTWin needs to kind of regroup a little bit. They need to do this. They need to do this. They need to come up off the side. Exactly what we need. Shaq, amazing. Oh coming up. We're talking about what do they need to do. We say we don't know. All of a sudden we see it happen. They need to go left, and that was that.
Oh my god. FTWin. Calm down. That was insane. I mean, you said it. They had to do this. That's what they did. It worked out. That was crazy. Whew, I don't know what to say. That was amazing.
I am speechless, actually.